Break out your sheet pan because it's the secret weapon to getting easy dinners on the table, and I've got five ingredient dinners for you. We love a sheet pan dinner because you can get an entire dinner on one pan and cleanup is a breeze. I'm starting with sheet pan chicken pot pie. This one is the easiest way to whip up an old classic. So comforting and so fast. The 5 ingredients: puff pastry, chicken broth or chicken stock, which really could be a pantry staple. You just need some cooked, chopped chickens. So you can get this from a rotisserie, or if you've been listening, you have done some meal prep and cooked some chicken at the beginning of the week. A bag of frozen mixed veggies and some heavy cream. Also gonna use some onion and seasonings as my pantry staples, but let me show you how easy this one is. We're gonna make our own cream of situation here. No cans needed, but if you wanted to avoid using the stove at all, you could whip out a couple cans of cream of chicken instead of this whole step. I'm all about using minimal ingredients. So I'm just gonna melt some butter and go ahead and saute my onion in here. In with the onion, and we're just gonna cook this until it's softened. I go ahead and add in a little salt just to help soften those onions and give them a little head start. Onion is softened. Now we make our roux in here and make us a thick cream sauce. Cook that down for about a minute and then in with our chicken broth. Whisk it to get out any lumps. Make sure all that flour is incorporated evenly. I've already got my salt in there, plus there's salt in the chicken broth, so I'm just gonna add in a little garlic powder and pepper, and then about a cup of heavy cream. You won't realize how thick this is gonna be until it comes up to that simmer. So we're gonna bring this up to a simmer and let it cook for about 5 minutes or so, just to further cook out that floury taste. Our sauce is thick and rich. Adding ingredients 3 and 4. A whole bag of frozen mixed veggies, which has 4 ingredients in it, and our chicken. Just gonna cook this for about 2 more minutes just to warm everything through slightly. Chicken pot pie. Sounds like one of those homemade complicated things. You saw how easy it is. You could add the crust to the top of this and keep it as a 1-pan meal, but it's fun to serve it up on a sheet pan. Let me show you. All right, I've just greased the sides of a sheet pan just for extra insurance. Spread it to the edges. Normally when you've got like a deep dish pie plate, it takes a while to get it all heated up and cooked through. But because it's in such a thin layer, this is why it can cook so fast. For our crust, buttery rich puff pastry, I'm gonna roll it just to stretch it slightly so that it fits all the way to the edges. You could also use canned crescent dough, or you could just top it with biscuits or refrigerated pie dough. I just love the puff pastry because it's a little rich and indulgent. Just that easy. It's another reason why I love a sheet pan dinner, because you can serve straight from the sheet pan. After this, everything is ready. You can do this ahead of time, have this in the fridge ready to go when you get home from work. Pop it in, dinner's on the table in less than 30 minutes. This goes into the oven 400 degrees for just about 25 minutes. It's all cooked through. All you're waiting on is for it to be browned and bubbly. You haven't seen chicken pot pie like this. Now you're gonna want this to set for about 5 to 10 minutes so that that can kind of set up a little better, but it's not impressive. You know, like any chicken pot pie, you're not gonna get a perfect pie slice because it's all about the gravy inside. Look at that. Oh yes. Get yourself a double layer because, I mean, it's a slab. You've got lots of surface area to work with. And if I was home for dinner really serving this, I would serve it with a little side salad. Look at that. 5 ingredients brought to you on a sheet pan. That's some good looking chicken pot pie if you ask me. But you don't have to ask me, I know you trust me now. It's all about the flaky top. Oh man, I surprise myself sometimes. Like I knew it was gonna be good, but it's better than I thought it was gonna be. Chicken's cooked perfectly, the vegetables are perfectly tender, that cream sauce, definitely better than what you get out of a can, and that flaky, buttery situation right there. It's a good dinner. Next up, a restaurant quality steak and potatoes on a sheet pan. This is garlic butter steak bites with broccoli and roasted potatoes. 5 ingredients are, of course, the steak. Now I'm using 2 New York strips. You could even choose something less expensive like top sirloin. You might just want to marinate it first. Broccoli. Potatoes, I'm using gold potatoes because I love that butteriness of them. And then that's really it. I'm giving you pantry staples and letting them count as ingredients, even though it's not necessary. But I'm gonna do onion and garlic. This dinner fully comes together on the sheet pan. The only thing we have to consider are the cook times, so we do have to do things in stages because potatoes are gonna take longer to cook than broccoli and steak. Just gonna give it a little insurance. Got my potatoes, just gonna throw those on. And then I'm gonna add a little onion just for extra flavor, and that's what I like. So I'm gonna give the potatoes a head start. Just a little olive oil, salt and pepper. This will go in at 425 for about 15 minutes. And in the meantime, we'll get everything else ready. I'm gonna toss my broccoli, same way I did my potatoes. When you're cooking on a sheet pan, you need the fat on the food before you add it, because normally you'd be cooking in a pot or a skillet, and you add the fat there and you cook your food in. So you still need that fat element to create some browning and to carry the flavor. That's ready to go, and then we cut up the steak. They are garlic butter steak bites. I'm gonna cut the steak into bites. And you can also customize this to how many people you're serving. There's just 2 of you. You could totally cut all of this in half. If you wanna save money, you can even do this with a pork tenderloin. Season these as well so they're ready to add when we're ready. And just for a little pumped up steak flavor, I'm gonna add a little Worcestershire. Everything else is pretty much prepped, and the potatoes are halfway done. See how easy this is? All right, it's been about 20 minutes. I'm gonna turn the oven onto broil, because we're gonna add the steak. Try to get a good sear on this pan, and I wanna do it fast while the pan's really hot. So the potatoes are looking good. I'm gonna stir in the broccoli, then coat it in all that flavor, and then kind of push them to the side. And we're gonna lay our steak right there. When you grill steak like this, you're just trying to really cook most of the outside and less of the inside. So that's why I've got the oven turned to broil. It's gonna roast that broccoli and brown our steak. Steak and potatoes. Look at that. Got some caramelization on the steak. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take everything off because I gotta make the garlic butter, and I'm gonna do that on the same pan. No need to dirty anything else. Plus, I want the flavor from the pan. You could go ahead and transfer everything to your serving plates. And everybody's already got their plate made, and you just have to pour the butter on top. So then to our pan and any drippings, our garlic and our butter. And I'm just gonna pop this back into the oven. Won't take long, just until that butter it gets really melty. And as it does, it will be infused with that garlic. Don't put it right under the broiler. You could turn the broiler down or just turn your oven back down to 425. Give it a little shake around the pan, a little scrape to pick up any flavor, and then we're pouring it straight over. Garlic butter steak bites. A restaurant quality meal, and only 1 pan to clean up. I like that. That is a good dinner. It's also a really good way to stretch out 2 steaks for a family. Buttery potato on a garlic butter steak bite. Truly a 3-ingredient dinner that is going to make everybody happy. It feels special, it's so flavorful, and for the cook and the family, you only have 1 pan to clean up. It's just a win-win all around. This next sheet pan dinner really only has 4 ingredients plus some pantry staples, and this is your something different. A pierogi and kielbasa sheet pan dinner. You've got everything. You've got your meat, your veggie, and your starch on 1 sheet pan. 4 ingredients: green cabbage for our veggies because it's just a natural pairing with kielbasa, which is ingredient number 2. Pierogies, you find these in the freezer section. There's different flavor varieties. I like the potato and cheese because that's just gonna go well with this. And then we're gonna make a little sauce with some whole grain mustard. I counted this as an ingredient because you might not have this in your fridge, but you should. It makes great marinades, dressings, sauces. We're not gonna dirty up any extra dishes either. I'm gonna start just by cutting up my cabbage, thinly slice it. And I'm just gonna toss everything right here on the sheet pan. And then also an onion, pantry staple. All right, this is gonna be our flavor base for our other ingredients to cook on. We're just gonna toss this with olive oil and salt and pepper. Sausage is a perfect sheet pan ingredient because it cooks fast. You don't really have to worry about it undercooking or overcooking because it's usually already cooked, and it's just about heating things up. Plus, as the fat renders out, it kind of flavors everything else on your sheet pan. A lot of times we deep fry these, but this is a lot easier. Then we're gonna season that up. A little Cajun seasoning and paprika. All right, these go into the oven for about 20 minutes, and then we're gonna give it a little toss and go in for another 20 minutes. But that looks so good. It's an easy dinner for sure. Maybe the easiest of the day. Just before this pierogi dinner comes out, we're gonna make a little sauce to